If this thing allows me to, oh, it's already recording. I don't know where it's going to save it, but that's for another day to figure out. So we have side angle side, and we've got side side side. Okay, I only gave you one version of the formula because, quite frankly, if I give you all three, that's too much, right? Like, you just need to see the pattern. If it's a side angle side, then, right, it'll be in one of the corners. You'll see it. Okay, the two sides and the angle in between. And then you know this is what needs to happen, right? And so the only thing you can do at that moment is, if you have the angle, is solve for the side that's across from it. Okay? You don't have a pair. And so we explored this yesterday. You're going to have to square root. I do this for a reason, okay? So some of your study sheets maybe have to have this, right? Have to have this part right there. And notice as soon as I square root, a is no longer a squared, it's just a, right? So if you don't wanna lose marks on notation, I suggest you pay attention to that. So let's do a side 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 scenario here, and then take it from there. Side 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 would be on page 20. So everything up to 19 would have been a good idea for you to try. Okay. If you ever notice that I'm off the screen, or I'm not recording and I should be recording, tell me, all right? Don't be shy. Just interrupt me and get it going. Okay, cosine law to solve for side side side. Okay. Maybe let's take a second here, because let's face it, this is going to be rusty. By the time it's June and you review, you're going to be like, what? So on page 15, sorry, I know I'm making you jump back and forth, I know. If you want an example for this one in particular, just say page 20. Example, is this one dying? Or example, page 20, okay? Tell yourselves that, and then if you want a side side side, it's going to appear on page 20, okay? So here we go. It's actually not that bad. You just got to be careful and resist the temptation to type it all in one shot. Okay? So solve for angle A. A is over here. Okay? We know that this is a side side side, right? No angles. Therefore, this is the symbol for therefore. Therefore, no pairs. Okay? There's no way to use sine law, right? So I have to use cosine law is the only one that works. The only one that works here. Okay. All right, so side, side, side. And we want to solve for angle A. So this is how I start my work. Cosine of whatever angle letter you have. In this case, it's A. And I will write out the formula for you because we're still getting used to this. Okay. The pattern is that at the top, you're going to have two sides added, and then the one will be subtracting. Okay. Always. And in the denominator, you're going to have 2 times a number times another number. And it's going to be these two that go here. Okay? So if you're solving for angle A, okay, then you got to look across from it. And it's this 18 that will go here subtracting. Got that, guys? It's the 18, this one, that goes here. So I go minus 18 squared. Everything is being squared. Okay. And now, honestly, it doesn't matter which order you put the other two in. It really doesn't. But let's be consistent. This is C, and this is B. Right? So we type those in. 30 squared, 22 squared, and then the 30 and the 22 come back again. These could be decimals, could be anything. Okay. So that's the initial setup. Now, I normally don't like equals, but this is not a proportion, okay? This is just cosine of A is going to be equal to all of this, which we're going to figure out. So we're going to go line, grab your calculator, do the top, write down the number, do the bottom, write down the number. Do not do this all in one shot. I hope I'm clear on that one. 30 squared plus 22 squared minus 18 squared. I'm getting 1,060. No decimals. If there had been decimals, you write down every single decimal, all right, guys? I'm just keeping it simple for this first one. At the bottom, clear your screen. 2 times 30 times 22. All of these are multiplying. Okay. And one more equal sign. I normally don't like trains, but in this case it's okay. Yeah. If you had Mr. Isfeld, he probably tells you that all the time, right? No choo-choo trains. So we're just boiling it down, right? We're simplifying it. We have this massive thing here. We do the top, do the bottom, then we divide those and leave that on your calculator. Do not clear, right? Keep it there. Keep it right there. If you don't have a calculator that does what I do, just write down 4 or 5 decimals at least and then type that into your calculator. That'll solve the problem for you. So here we go. Angle A is equal to, what do we do if we want to find an angle? Yeah, cosine inverse. So we want to get rid of that cosine there. So in order to do that, we go cosine inverse of, you could do this whole thing if you'd like. I will not. I will go straight down to the decimal. Like that. That's how I show my work. So in 3 lines, you can have this thing solved. Okay, in 3 lines. Thank you. Page 20. So we're going to go shift, cosine. I just need to hit equals. Some of you, look up here real quick. Some of you have this answer button here. You may have to press that because it takes the previous answer. If that makes you feel better, do it. Right? And it's 36 point. What do you think? 5, 8, right? Because this is a 9, so bumps that to an 8. So yes, we do round. I've been talking to grade 10 and 11 teachers to start doing this, okay? Because the grade 12, we need to round everything to do decimals, okay? So this is the answer for angle A. Got it? What if the province got all smart on us and they asked us for the 3-letter notation? So angle A is, obviously we know it's this one, but if you know how it has the equivalent of the 3-letter notation equivalent? This is my advice. If you got to go backwards, I would say just put down A in the middle, right? This is your middle letter. And then just go B, right? You can put B here. And back to A, and then look at where else it's going. It's going to C. And then read it out, see if it makes sense. B to A to C. You're traveling these 2 stretches here, and you're connecting those 2 lines, right? So this does make sense. Or you can flip it. You can read it backwards. C-A-B. Okay? So it's the same thing. I think this is important to know how to write it in 3-letter notation, right? And I hope that made sense. Determine the measure of the largest angle. Where is it? Next question, right? I do not like the software, sorry guys. It's very glitchy, very, there's like a lag or something, right? Like if I do this, can't keep up. Anyways, hopefully next week it's resolved. The largest angle, where would that be? What's that? It's obtuse, but you're right. It may or may not be obtuse. We don't know. But there's a way to know for sure which one the largest angle is. It's going to be found across the longest side, correct? Always. So where is it? We can't go by diagram. None of the diagrams are ever going to be drawn to scale, so don't be going by the diagram. So let's go, yeah, let's find the longest side. It's the biggest number. This is the largest angle, okay? Largest angle right here. So this one right here. And just think about it, right? The bigger the side across from where you are, right? Let me try this here. The longer that side across from you gets. This is not working, is it? Right? The longer it gets, the bigger the angle, right? And then if the side gets shorter, then obviously the angle would also get shorter, right? So smaller, not shorter. So that's how you find it. There's a relationship between that. So the shortest side, we technically just found angle A, which is across the shortest side. So we can also say that this is the smallest angle. Let's just write that down. Why not? Note, this is the smallest angle because it is across the shortest side. Shortest side. And I like things like, these are actually very important concepts. And if you're not thinking of it the whole time, you might miss it. Okay, so that's why, there we go. We've got our smallest angle. And there's a big chance that the longest, like the other one will be obtuse, but we're not sure. Okay, let's find out. Just aside, I just had this thought the other day. I was driving. Okay, and can a triangle have more than one obtuse angle? Do you think? The answer is no. This is why. The angles always add up to 180, correct? So if you have, is this an obtuse angle right here? Yeah, right? This is bigger than 90. If you had another 91, what does that add up to already? 22. That can't be, right? Now you have more than 180. So if they ever do one of those on you, you know, or maybe I will pull one of those on you, you know it can't be, because it would immediately be over 180, you're in trouble, okay? So this is just an aside. I'm not even going to put a note to it. Let's do this. So that would be angle C, correct? So we'll go cosine of angle C, and here's the pattern. We're going to go plus, minus, and at the bottom you have 2 times, every single time. This is the most important number that you should start with, which that should be 30 meters, because that's the side that's across this one. But don't forget to square. Every single number on top is squared. So if you've used 30, then you only have the other two left, which is 22 and 18. And those two show up again in the denominator. I like patterns way more than you memorizing, because if you know the pattern, it'll just make everything so much easier. Let's figure this out. There's something unique about cosine law that you will have to worry about with sine law. So let's do this. 22 squared plus 18 squared minus 30 squared. What do you get? Don't just tell me 92. This is what happens a lot. Oh, it's 92. I wonder what that negative is in front of there. But I don't like it, so I'm just going to ignore it. Don't ignore it, okay? Use a different color even. That is going to tell us something. And then let's do the denominator, so I clear it. 2 times 22 times 18, 792. And here's where some calculators are weird when it comes to negatives, okay? So you're just going to have to know when you divide these, no matter what happens, your answer is going to be negative, okay? That negative follows you around wherever you go. So let's go 92 divided by 792, and that's 0.116, and that just keeps going. Leave it on your calculator. So now I have a problem. Mr. Dirksen, how do you insert a negative? Like, my calculator won't just let me do it. This is what I do. I take this answer and I just go times -1, and it turns this whole thing negative. You might have a negative button, like a minus in brackets, or like a plus minus. You can use that. You need to today figure out how to get this negative in your calculation. Got it? That is the crucial part today. So we're going to go angle C is cosine inverse of, here it is again, that annoying negative, right? 0.1161. It keeps going. So we go shift cosine. Make sure yours is set to degrees. That's 9667. I'll make a note here. Angle is greater than 90 degrees. Therefore, obtuse. Okay? And what gives that away? What told us that it was going to be obtuse? Yes. This negative, right? All these negatives told us, okay, that we were going to get an obtuse angle. We didn't know exactly what the measure is, but I could have guaranteed you that it's going to be greater than 90, right? That negative gives it away. So if all you cared about is whether or not this angle is obtuse, you could have stopped right here. Right there, you could have stopped and said, yeah, I know for a fact this angle is going to be obtuse. But if I want the actual measure, then obviously here it is. And now let's find the third one. Let's do another cosine law. Don't do it. Too much work. Angle B, we're waiting for B, right? I'm just going to go 180 minus 3658 minus 9667. Yeah, it's right on top of the filing cabinet. So if you minus all of this, you get, and I'm off my key here, we get 4675. 4675. We're good. So I'm actually gonna send you off working right away. I wonder if I should add another. Here's what I'm gonna do. I hope you don't mind. I like colors. Mind you, in high school, you would have never seen me with one of these. Right? I just that wasn't me, but then I realized that it helps when you go back and, okay. And I just want to emphasize, when you flip through this, when you're reviewing, right, you're like, oh yeah, that negative, yeah, watch out for the negative. Don't forget about the negative. It's obtuse, right? So if that happens, it doesn't happen very often, but if it does happen, you know that means something special, right? Maybe on your study sheet, when you write down the formulas on page, was it 15 or 16? I'm going to go back there real quick because I want you to If it's on your study sheet, it's so much better actually. So maybe if we go to 15, and under SSS, because that's the only time you need to worry about it when it's a side, 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 I will just say, I'll make a note here. If a squared plus b squared, sorry, no, this is making it too, this is overkill. Let's make it a little easier to remember. Sorry about that, guys. I'll make a note. If the numerator is negative, right, we have an obtuse angle. And if you don't know what obtuse is, just write to yourself, note to myself, right? It means greater than 90. And I will make this really stand out. I would have this close in proximity to this formula. And that's why I like formulas written by you, not the formula sheet, because that doesn't tell you all these little details, right? So be warned. As I said, I'm going to say this one more time. Trig is one of those on the exam. For the most part, you flip through the exam, you're like, bingo, I know how to do this one. Just do sine law or cosine law, set it up, solve it, boom. You get like answers. You know you're going to be right if you read it carefully. And there's no guessing. Like with vehicle finance, oh, it's a new, it's a used, leasing, blah, blah, right? There's so many different ways you can go. Trig, it just really comes down to sine law, cosine law, okay? All right, I'm going to ask you to try some right away. I don't know where you're at in your journey. So if 17, if you haven't done anything on 17, I would say that's SAS. That's what we did yesterday. Make sure you review that. And then if you want more SAS, it goes all the way to page 19. There are word problems, right? Things like that. But for now, let's first stick with this one. Side, side, side. So let's go to page 21. And I want you to solve for all of the angles. Listen carefully. Today we're only going to use cosine law, right? So we go to page 21. We're not going to use sine law today because I want you to practice cosine law, okay? So I want you to solve for all of these angles, and I will give you the answers here. So you know as I'm walking around, you know what's happening. Oh, I just gave it away, but which one should be the largest angle in this one? P, right? Yeah, because it's the longest side, so that angle is the largest. All right. Q. So maybe start with finding angle P, because you're going to be confronted with that negative. Q, what is Q? 3108. And angle R is 4128. So if you want to have the answers, write them down here and then get going with the work. I left you lots of space. If you feel like you did 21, you checked in with me, or maybe you're just getting them, you're acing every single one, keep moving along. Keep moving along that booklet. I would say, yeah, 21, 22. I know you're very good at independent work, so I'll tell you what's happening after 22. Make sure you look up here. Otherwise, you're gonna just wait for me. If you start going to 23, page 23, what does it say at the top? Practice both laws worksheet. Here, every single time you're gonna have to choose, is it sine law or is it cosine law? Every single time. And so that's the exercise there. If you keep flipping, to page 26, that's when the answer key, that is actually the answer key. The only downside is this answer key is not rounded to 2 decimals because I got it online, okay? It's just a whole number, but you should know, okay, I'm getting it, right? I'm in the ballpark. So, but for now, as I said, 21, 22, and I maybe go back to SAS, practice those a little bit, and then I will get you started with those pages a little later today, okay? So that's your task for the next little while.